Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this beautiful occasion, I, as a part of the first group, my name is Afawazin Riyadi, and I would like to explain you about English syllabus and instructional material development. Especially, we have a subtopic that is a survival language learning syllabus for foreign travels. Remember that here we have especially the very basic word that we have to know. That is the first one, that is survival, and then the second one, that is foreign travel. That is really related with our material, with our study that we have in this occasion. All right, we directly come into the introduction. Well, I think to start this explanation, to start these presentations, I have two types of questions in which these questions can answer all the subtopics that we bring in this occasion. The first one, what is the language knowledge that learners first need when they learn a language? The second one, what do people need to do with language? Okay, talking about the first thing that we have to learn when we want to learn language, it means we are going to start with a very basic of language. We use a language when we are talking about the survival. It means that we are going to use a language to live in some place, because the term is for traveler. It means we are in a strange land. By those kinds of case that I have brought you, that means we have to learn the very specific and limitations of language, because when we are talking about language, there are a lot of things that we have to master, including the syntax, the phonology, the morphology. But for us as traveler, it may not be important. It may not be important. That's why we have the survival syllabus to limit to limit the objectives of learning a language, in which we have a destination. The destination that we have here is to be able to survive in a strange land in only a temporary times. We will not live there in a long time. We just stay there in temporary times. So that we need to learn some parts of language that may be important. Okay, next. The aim of this study is to provide a list based on a principled approach that will give learners an immediate and useful return for the effort of learning. And then the immediate refers to the most important part of language, which is needed most in oral communications. Language has many components, has many skills. Especially, I think the skills, if we are talking about English, we will have 4 skills, that is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. But for survival language, for travelers especially, we will try to focus on the communication, the oral communication, not writing, not how to write well, not how to read well, not how to write an article. No, we will avoid that, because here we will specify all the terms of learning language into the specific destination, that is only in oral communications. And then the next, the topic tries to specialize the general material of learning a language, in which there is too much material in the first lesson that is not relevant with the immediate need. I think in this term, we are trying to specialize the general materials. when we learn a language, when we learn an English especially, we set the language in this topic as English. We focus on English. In English, when we study, we will try to learn all aspects. I mean, we have all aspects. We have many components like vocabulary, like grammar, like pronunciation, or like and other components. But when we are talking about the specific one in this syllabus, especially for the travelers, it means that we are going to be really so specific. We are, I mean, we in the first term, in the first term, we learn a language in limited time. I think it's impossible. If we learn a language during 4 years, for example, we try to master all parts, all components of the language. But if the destination of us is only to travel, it doesn't need to learn language that deep. We just need to learn some specific or some parts of language that may be important for us in living in a strange land. Alright, next. The purpose of this survival language syllabus are, the first one, that is to survive. Survival. So of course it's to survival. The second, to travel. Travel the world. That needs language to communicate with others. And then the next one, that is social functions. Social functions and survival have really strong connection. With both of them have really strong connection. Why I have taught you like that? Because when we try to survive in a place, in a strange land, in contemporary times, for example, so of course we are as human, as social human beings, especially we really need other people to fulfill our life, such as buying something, such as asking direction, such as ordering a hotel or other. That's really usual thing that we need when we travel, and it has connection with the social functions, one another, one human and other human. I think that's probably really needed to say that the three kinds of the item that I have taught you, including survival, travel, and social function, becomes the purpose of this survival language syllabus. And then the next one, that is the focuses of this syllabus are focused on spoken language. So of course we are learning to speak, we are learning to communicate with others. It means that we need to focus, we need to limit our learning in only spoken language, in only oral communications. Then we will be focused on the vocabulary. I mean, whoever, what we speak today, what we speak now, what I speak especially now, there is a part of vocabulary. I will not be able to speak if I don't know the meaning of it, if I don't know, if I do not have many vocabularies to speak, because the material that we use when we are speaking is vocabulary. So we are trying to specialize which vocabularies we need in surviving in a strange land. Okay, I think that's for my points, and it will be continued by my friends. And please, Puja, you continue my explanation. Thank you.
Then now let's talk about the development of the survival syllabus. Then if you want to make the syllabus, we will have some criteria for selecting the communicative content. So the syllabus should contain useful items like we need to use the useful items to make us easy to understand and to make us easy to learn about the new language. Then here's some criteria for selecting the communicative content. The first one is purposive domain, setting, interaction, and instrumentality. The explanation of them, let's start from the first one. Tourist and temporary visitor. It means that if we come to the country, we will be the tourists or we will be the temporary visitors. Then the setting. It's about foreign city, used occasionally, culturally different, recreational, urban, and unhurried. So it means we come to the foreign city, then we will find some different culture there. Then for the interaction, like this. Interaction means we will have some conversations with the people there, the people in the place, in the country. Then because we are the foreigner, we can use the communication, the interaction, and yeah, because we are the non-native, we will be very careful to speak English with them. Then for the instrumentality, it's actually the follow-up of interaction, because the instrumentality is like we interact with some people there and we can use face-to-face, or we can use the spoken dialogue, or maybe because we are the foreigner, because we are not the native speakers, we will get some repetition, hesitation, or sometimes we will look up the meaning in the dictionary. Not all items can be included in making the syllabus. So here's some criteria of including items in syllabus. Table 2.2 will explain us the way how to choose the content for the syllabus. Start from need, frequency, coverage, and combinability and learnability. Then here on the right side we will find the source of information. For the need, we will find the information of the needs analysis. When we get to know the people, then we can know the needs analysis of them, then we can continue to make the syllabus. Then for the frequency, we will get the information for the frequency based on Eaton in 1940. But for the coverage and combinability, we can find it from Freiberg in 1989, and also substitution tables. Then the last one, learnability, we can find the information based on Haija and also Nation. Let's talk about the first criterion. It's about need. So actually there are three times of making the needs analysis. So start from the first need analysis. It was done by interviewing some people who had already returned from other countries. Then for the second needs analysis, we will make the survey from 10 textbooks that include some phrases and also some sentences there. But for the third analysis, it involved one of the authors that has already applied the syllabus from other countries, and the author will apply it to make the syllabus. Then for the second part is about frequency. It means frequency based on Eaton's in 1940. It taught us about some words that are available in English. There are for about 600 till 1,000 words in English. Then when he tried to survey the words to people, they will have some difference. They will have some different opinion about that. So some people will say that photo is already in English, but there are some words too that are not available in English, like toilet. Toilet doesn't occur in Eaton's list. Then next is about coverage and combinability. if we talk about coverage, it's about the capacity of a word that take the place to other words. But for the combinability, it's like two words can go together, like football, footpath. But for this one, for the coverage, if I have the example like go, go means run, walk, or drive. So it means the word go can be said as many meanings there. Then for the last one, as I said before, the learnability can be got from Haija or Haija in 1963. So for the learnability, we can say that it will be hard for people to know English words if we talk about synonyms, opposites, or free associates together, or something that makes us different to learn about English, because there are many kinds of terms. So synonyms, antonyms, or opposites will be hard for us to know about English or other language.
Okay, thank you for my friend uh, Freddy and Buja. And the last section is the survival syllabus. The survival syllabus has been divided into 8 sections on the basis of information referred during the interviews. The sections have been ranked and numbered according to the number of interviews, indicating that the used item in the section divided by the number of items. For number 1 is greeting and being polite. Like example, hello, good morning, where are you, have you eaten, and the reply. And the second is buying and bargaining. For the example, I want blah 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 blah. Do you have blah 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 blah? There is there blah 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 blah. And the number 3 is reading signs. Reading signs. For the example, cans, ladies, or entrance, or in, or exit, or out, or closed. Okay. And the number 4 is getting to place. For the example, excuse me, to get attention, can you help me? Where is blah 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 blah? Where is blah 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 street? What is the name of this place or street or station or town? For example, toilet, bank, airport, train station, and each other. And the number 5 is finding accommodation. For the example, where is blah 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 hotel, or how much about the cost, and each other. And then the number 6 is ordering food. For the example, how much about price, the bill please, I want blah 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 blah. Okay. And the number 7 is talking about yourself and talking to the children. For the example, where do you come from? And the replace. Or my name is blah 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 blah. Okay. And the number 8 is controlling and learning language. For the example, do you understand? For the replace. Or do you speak English? For the replace is yes or no and each other. Okay, and the next is organizing, learning, practicing. For the pluralin, the syllabus simply identifies the knowledge or language resource required. The task of acquiring this knowledge in a way that would make it accessible in communicative situation is addressed briefly in the section. Okay. Organizing the learning. Indicate how many words or phrases can comfortably be learned each day. One effective way to learn the word and phrase in the list is to write them on small card with a first language translation on the other side. The next is uh, learning forms for meanings rather than meaning for forms. learning word or phrase by focusing on meaning and visualizing it in some way. And the last is getting as much practice as you can. Learning the item in the survival syllabus does not guarantee, guarantee that they will be available for us. To develop fluency, practice is needed. The essential element of fluency practice is the learner should focus on the meaning of the message as suggested above, and the three should be several repetition of the activity. Okay, and the next is organizing, learning, and practicing. Clearly, the syllabus simply identifies the knowledge or language resource required. The task of acquiring this knowledge in a way that will make it accessible in communicative situation is addressed briefly in section. Okay, organizing the learning. You get how many words or phrases can comfortably be learned each day. One effective way to learn the word and phrase in the list is to write them on small card with a French language translation on other side. And the next is learn from for meanings rather than meanings for from. Learning words or phrase by focusing on meaning and visualizing in some way. The technique of using card is one way of making learning deep because it encourages the learner to make an effort to recall the translation equivalent of each item. Another way to do this to use the keyword technique or some variation of it. And the last is giving as much practice as you can. More practicing can affect the fluency. Learning learning the items in the survival syllabus does not guarantee that they will be applied for use. To develop fluency, practice is needed. The essential element of fluency practice is that the learner should focus on the meaning of the message as suggested above, and the three should be several repetition of the activity. Okay, that's all of our presentation. Maybe any questions, feedbacks, or comment we can discuss in our group. Okay, the last we say, Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.